episode 27 of Life Changing Advice. These are things that I've learned over my lifetime that I know that if you consider, they will change your life. And number 27 is pay attention to your triggers. So what is it that upsets you? And you can just walk around with your journal over a week, a day, a month, and you will see certain things. You have these inklings, these little feelings, these things that make you upset, things that make you mad, sad, frustrated, overwhelmed, and you can see old things will come up. It could be, just anything, a scent, a song. You can see things that trigger you, and it is important so that you know what triggers you, so you can know how to handle it, what to do when it happens. And so it is very important that we become more self-aware, that we are paying attention to things as they're happening in our life every single day. And I think we could change our lives for the better if we just paid attention to our triggers. Like, I always think about, to make it more plain, like what's eating you, what's stressing you out, what's bothering you. And a lot of times we have pushed it down, so we've ignored ourselves for so long. We have expected things to magically get better. We've expected that if we ignore it, it'll go away. It just comes up in other ways. And I always think about, I've been reading a lot about how our emotions affect us and make us ill, things that we suppress, anger, resentment, bitterness. We think that it doesn't affect us. We think it'll go away. These things that we keep inside, that we don't want to cause trouble. We want to people please, or we don't want to deal with it. We want it to go away. And we have to acknowledge or be aware of the things that bother us. And the only way to do that is to become more self-aware. And that is a journey. Because we change. Some stuff we don't bother us like it used to, but some things we can see over, 20 years, 30 years, it has bothered us persistently. So think about what your triggers are. Pay attention. Study yourself. It's kind of like you're with yourself forever. You can't get rid of you. You're stuck with yourself. So think about and evaluate, examine, look at every single day. What is it that bothers me? What is it? What are my triggers? When I'm just going about my daily life, is it somebody cut me off? What does it make me think about? If somebody, because, I've seen people where somebody's cut them off or threw the middle finger up at them while they're driving, and it ruins their whole day. Or somebody says a hurtful comment and it bothers them for weeks. So you got to be looking at the things, because there's always something underneath it, right? So we got to study ourselves and evaluate, okay, what's happening? What's going on in my life? What is it that's bothering me? What do I need to change? What's underneath this? Where did this start? Where this thing that upset me, where did this start? Why do I have insecurity about this? But study yourself. This is so important that you know what it is. You'll see a pattern if you study, okay, why am I upset? Why am I angry? Why am I stressed? Why am I frustrated? And you start to see these patterns of things that happen over and over again. It might be in different ways, but it's still the same emotion. So you want to find out for yourself, and you want to start looking at it. What do you need to do to change? How can you make the situation better? And then, I think the most important thing is knowing what it is, being aware, and then, so you can figure out how to handle it. You can figure out what to do next time. And, it may be that you blow up over certain things. You get angry over certain things. And so when you know that, you can do better, right? It's, we get kind of, I say wonky, but we don't think when we get angry. It's like our brain is like totally, going haywire. We lack the common sense. We do things that don't make sense when we're upset. We get angry. So we got to figure out, okay, what do I need to do first? What's kind of the steps? What makes me angry? You kind of think about it for yourself. But until you become more self-aware, until you study yourself, until you know what it is that triggers you, cannot change. So figure out what your triggers are. Study yourself every single day, at least for a week, and just kind of notice things and just capture things and see what it is that, what are your triggers, and then what are you going to do about it, in the future.